We're going to get into SEO. SEO is not a trick, a tool, or a list of magic words. SEO is how search platforms understand what your business actually is and who it serves and when it should be shown. Every platform you care about, including Google, Apple, Bing Maps, AI search, and voice search, operates on the same core principle: language clarity. SEO is its own language. Search engines do not think in posts or profiles, they think in patterns, repetition, and consistency. The words you use across your business information, your service names, your descriptions, your posts, reviews, and captions, they all act as signals. Those signals tell search platforms what category that you belong in, what problems you solve, and what searches you deserve to appear for. When people talk about SEO keywords, it often sounds like a scavenger hunt. Find a word and stuff it everywhere. That's not how modern search works. Search today is contextual. It looks at clusters of related language, not isolated phrases. It looks for alignment, not volume. This is where trending words matter. Trending words are not about chasing popularity. They're about understanding how real people are phrasing their problems right now. Search language changes. Clients don't always search using the same professional or industry labels that we do. Your job is not to invent new language. Your job is to listen for it and reflect it back clearly. Trending words are keywords that rise quickly because of social media, cultural shifts, or new styles that people are actually asking for. Think about terms like butterfly cut, wolf cut, or curtain bangs. These started out as trends, but they became common search language. And when you use these types of language thoughtfully in your content, you're signaling to Google that you're current, relevant, and connected to what people are searching for right now. I have seen this work firsthand. So when I intentionally use the trending word wolf cut in my content, I receive multiple calls specifically asking for that haircut within the same month. What matters is how you use that language. Instead of just dropping a term like butterfly cut on its own, you want to write it in a complete, clear sentence that includes who, what, and where. For example, butterfly cut by Julia Davis at Salon Bloom in East Cobb, Marietta. This is a single sentence and it gives Google a full data set. It identifies the service, the provider, and the location. This is how AI search platforms process information. AI is looking for searchable language that completes a full sentence of who, what, where, and why. There are multiple ways to find this type of language using data instead of guesswork. Google Trends shows how search interest changes over time. Google Keyword Planner provides keyword ideas, volume, and relatable terms. Keyword Tool.io pulls suggestions from many search platforms, and Answer the Public shows how people are phrasing questions around a topic. So I've included a keyword planner in the PDFs below. Google itself is also a research tool. Autocomplete suggestions are based on repeated searches. Your Google Business Profile Performance Report is another resource. It shows actual search terms that people use to find your business. It's very basic, however, so that's why we are including all of this. Another one is competitor research. That matters too. Look at businesses ranking well in your area and pay attention to how they name their services, structure descriptions, and repeat language across platforms. What better way to be successful than to model the success of what you see that is working? Reviews. Now, reviews are one of the most overlooked SEO assets. Clients describe your services in their own words, and that language is extremely valuable. Google looks for this, and when the same phrases, concerns, or outcomes appear repeatedly in reviews, that language should be reflected back into your service descriptions and posts. This is how you align with real search behavior without guessing. You can't control what someone writes, but you can gently ask clients if they're comfortable to mention the service that they received. Strong SEO content also requires empathy. You need to understand who you are trying to reach. Ask yourself who your ideal client is, what they care about, and how they describe their problem. The more specific you are, the easier it is to show up where they're searching. Now, earlier in this course, we spent a lot of time doing advanced client research. We defined who your ideal dream client is, what they care about, and how they think. We also looked at something that many people actually skip right over, and that's actually right where they live. This is where that research comes into practice. Knowing where your clients live, it matters. Not just the city name, but the neighborhoods they choose, the landmarks, the parks, the shopping areas, and the communities they associate their daily lives with. These are not random details. They're part of how people orient themselves geographically and how search engines pay attention to that language. When you naturally reference neighborhoods, well-known areas, or local landmarks in your content, you're expanding the contextual footprint of your business. You're telling Google not just where you are located, but where you are relevant and where your ideal client is. You're telling Google not just where you are located, but where you are relevant. This helps broaden your reach into the specific areas where your dream clients already live, work, and spend time. This is not about stuffing neighborhood names into posts. It's about alignment. If your ideal client lives in certain areas, the language connected to those areas should appear organically in the ecosystem. Posts and service descriptions, captions, and review responses can reflect that local context when it's genuine. So, later in the course, when we look at local Falcon heat maps, this becomes even more important. Those maps show us where your visibility is strong and where it is weak. Often, the areas where you are underperforming are the exact neighborhoods where your ideal clients live. Often, the areas where you're underperforming are the exact neighborhoods where your ideal clients live. And that's why we want to use these geographical words so that we can push the search out into those areas. Once you can see that data, you can be intentional. You can reinforce language tied to those neighborhoods, landmarks, and surrounding areas in a way that feels natural and client-focused. And over time, this helps push your relevance outward, not randomly, but strategically toward the areas that matter most for your business. This is how advanced client research, SEO language, and visibility tools all connect. You're not trying to reach everyone. You're teaching search engines exactly which clients that you want, where they live, and why your business belongs in their search results. SEO works best when it's consistent across everything you do. Your business name, your categories, your service descriptions, posts, reviews, and website content, and even Instagram captions should all reinforce the same language ecosystem. When those pieces align, search engines gain confidence, and confidence leads to visibility. As you begin to recognize which language works best for your business, writing becomes more natural. Now, this course teaches how to use ChatGPT and AI to support client growth. But thinking critically still matters. SEO is not a one-time task. It is a system that quietly supports every part of your marketing. And when it's done correctly, it reduces how much you need to post and to explain or convince. The system does the work in the background. SEO is not treated here as a checklist. It is treated as a foundation. Once you understand how language works, every platform becomes easier to use because you're no longer guessing. You are speaking the same language that your clients and search engines are already using.